It is a beautiful morning today. Just got fueled up at the coffee shop. Let's break down today's topic. All right, so today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is consistency. It is incredibly important for business, art, life, just everything. Fitness, I mean, you name it, consistency is incredibly important. In my opinion, there are 6 steps to being able to maintain and achieve really great consistency. First up is vision. Guys, vision is incredibly important. If you do not know where you're going, you're gonna have no idea if you've even got there. So make sure that you have a ton of clarity on exactly what you're envisioning to have happen with the consistent levels that you're keeping up. Make sure you have a vision for where you wanna go. Then we have routine. Routine is incredibly important. You want to have that entrenched kind of style when you're coming into something. So when you have a particular vision, somewhere you want to go, be sure to set up a routine that is going to work for you, right? So if you want to get into blogging, if you want to start advertising on Facebook, if you have sales goals for your sales team and you're a small business, whatever that is, get them in a routine, whether that's making calls, posting on social, with it, like let's say you've got ads that you want to put out for your business. Have a routine for how frequently that you are sending out these ads. Have some A/B testing going. Whatever it is, routine is going to be incredibly important. If you think about it from a fitness perspective, if you have no routine when it comes to, you know, working out or whatever the case may be, how in the world are you ever going to get the body you want, right? The same thing applies to your business. If you have no routine for your business, how are you going to get the business you want? Routine is incredibly important. Alternative. Now, alternative is an interesting aspect to have within these 6 steps. Alternative feeds off this idea of fear. The fear of where you would be if you weren't doing the things that we're talking about here, if you weren't being consistent. So if you are looking for sales goals for your sales team and you've got a vision and you've got a routine for what they're gonna do to be able to reach these sales goals, the alternative is, where would you be if you weren't being as consistent as you needed to be? Would you be back at last year's sales numbers? Would you have to start firing people? The same thing applies if you're a solopreneur, if you're your own business. What is the alternative? If you're not doing consistent work and being consistent in your business, can you not pay for your daughter's wedding? Can you potentially have to go back to a 9-to-5 if you're soloing it up, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and start your own thing? So the idea of alternatives is this idea of fear. What would happen if you weren't being consistent? Where would you be if you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing? Alrighty guys, next up we've got 30-day goals. 30-day goals are incredibly important. It allows you to have quick wins, which is very important from a consistency perspective. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in the next 2 steps, but quick wins are very important. It also allows you to pivot. If at the beginning of every 30 days you step back and you go, okay, where are we at with regards to that vision that we've already set up? You can really start to establish some important routines, which again, we've already set up. And you can go, look, we're not meeting sales goals, or I'm not losing the weight I wanted to lose, or whatever it is that you're trying to be consistent about, you can assess and move forward appropriately. If you're only setting goals once a year or once every 6 months, it's going to be really hard to assess where you're at, where you're going, and how you're actually going to get where you want to go. We've already talked about this in a previous video, which is about going A to B, B to C, C to D, and not always thinking about what is A to Z. What is A to Z? That's a really hard concept to grasp, but A to B is really easy, and it helps you get those quick wins and stay motivated to continue and be consistent. Next up, we've got the Seinfeld portion of this strategy. Now, I'll link up down below to a video about Seinfeld. Long short of it is that he had an amazing concept of not breaking the chain for writing jokes. Every single day he had a giant wall calendar and he'd put a big X down for when he wrote a joke. And this was very important for him, his business, and everything else involved, because he said that was what kept him going, is not breaking the chain of writing a new joke every day. So that's your goal with consistency. Don't break the chain. Whatever it is you're going after, whatever it is you're striving for, whatever it is you're working towards, work that routine, remember what the alternatives are, and just stay focused on those 30-day goals, and don't break the chain for whatever it is you have to do daily to make sure you're achieving and staying consistent for where you're wanting to go. All right, lastly, guys, we've got the dip. Now, this comes from Seth Godin, the amazing marketer, the amazing thought leader. This is just that idea that everybody's going to plateau. Well, on this road to consistency, on this road to whatever you want as far as sales goals or whatever it is you're working towards in your business or your life, there's going to be a dip, there's going to be a valley, there's going to be a plateau, and you have to work through it. The dip is a filter. It's going to be a filter for greatness. It's going to be a filter for a business you're proud of. It's going to be a filter for whether or not you actually achieve that 50-pound weight loss goal you have or you don't. The dip is the filter, and you need to remember that. It's something that you can push through. It's something that you can keep on striving through. But you have to know that as far as consistency is concerned, that is the last and sixth step of this important process. Now, like I mentioned before with the 30 days, what the 30-day goals allow you to do is it allows you to push through that dip. It allows you to go, man, this month was hard, but next month I know where I need to set my goals to keep going. Man, last month was a plateau, but this month, I know I can push through it because this last month was just the dip, and I know after the dip comes the valley, right? Like after the valley comes the peak, right? Like that's what you're going to get through when you understand what you get, when you push through the dip, push through that plateau, push through that difficult time with whatever it is you're trying to be consistent about. It's important to know, one, it's coming, and two, that you can push through it. One of my favorite quotes is by Elon Musk, the amazing entrepreneur and visionary business leader. He says, being an entrepreneur is like chewing glass and staring into the abyss. That is what I feel like sometimes when I'm in that dip. And I know that you've been there, and I know you might be there now. So just know that number one, you can push through it. And number two, by doing the things that we've talked about, having a vision, having a routine, understanding the alternative, having 30-day goals, and not breaking the chain with that Seinfeld strategy, you will push through the dip and you will get to the business and life that you are proud of.